Greetings and salutations, everybody. I am Pat626, and I regularly host Subculture Shock right here on Twitch. And it has been a long time since I started playing the Gothsicles. I was still on the radio back on like the early 2000s when I started, or at least mid 2000s. And so it's a serious thrill for me to have in the studio, virtually anyways. Brian, how's it going?
It is going amazingly here out in Boston /space.
/space. I've been told that all of Boston is in space.
You're not wrong, technically.
Yeah, like the last time we actually talked was at a show in Charlottesville, Virginia, where you were opening for Caustic.
Okay, wow, that was quite a while ago.
Yeah. Since then, it's mostly been us just chatting on the internet. Yeah,
it has been.
Yeah, but it's
sort of the way of the world these days, but that is our relationship. Yes.
Yeah. It's really cool to actually be able to talk with you again. I want to first of all say thank you very much for being here.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. So I always start off these interviews with what I like to call the supervillain origin story.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you get it? Like, why did you even start listening to dark music, be it industrial, goth, whatever? Let alone why did you end up playing it?
Interesting. Early, like I always liked, you're sort of drawn to darker elements as a kid. I think whatever, you're really into Halloween or, you like the black clothes or whatever those early indicators are in juvenilia. And then I started getting into music and discovering that world. And there was like, I like the edge or something of like metal. And then there's like this thing we call techno, and it's electronic, and that's amazing. And, but it's just kind of like, it's a little maybe too silly every now and then for me. But, there were these kids were like a year older than me in high school, which at that time was like, an epoch EPOCH amount of time. And they listened to something called industrial music. And then like I had a buddy make me a mixtape, and it like melted my brain. It was like everything that I ever wanted. And so that sort of set the path for industrial music. And then as far as just being silly goes, I know I just derided techno for being silly, but I don't know. That's in my DNA, man. It's hard to sort of extract why I feel the need to just be goofy. So combining those sort of disciplines was almost an inevitability. And then I fell into a vat of acid. I wanted a superhero at the end there.
All right. Yeah, I mean, that's a classic supervillain ending, unless you're trying to get out of an agreement Rick and Morty style, but then it's a supervillain ending.
I've never seen that shit.
Oh, well, you're probably better off. I probably just pissed off somebody. Anyway, so you talked about, how you wanted to be silly. Were your first forays into making music immediately silly?
Yeah. I was in this really gross shit metal band called Faded Memories, where I mean that was the joke. We had like a lighthouse or something on the cover of the album, and then the track would just be like these horrific lyrics. Just that first like 16-year-old boys, I think, are just fucking universally assholes. So it's just that first foray into like how gross and disgusting can we be. And that turned into really the precursor for the Gothsicles pretty quickly, called sleeping disorder. Because I would always, and still do, have a tremendous problem with falling asleep, especially in class at the time. It's about math class, right? I mean, this is how far back we're going. But that was a foray into this wonderful world of I can program a machine to do this thing. Like, I don't have to hit every right note on the guitar, and it just, that was really the I don't want to get like too woo-woo right away on my big Subculture Talk debut here, but that was really like the start of my life. Like, I feel like that's when focus started to come, discovering that first Alesis HR16 drum machine, and like I can sort of program out this path with these machines, and it allows me to sort of live this dream of creating music without talent. Let's just call it what it is. But I can do these lyrics and other things, and it sort of allows me to present this in an unfiltered way, meaning honestly without other people. But that's sort of how a lot of us, meaning the industrial community, sort of work. And now I'm getting off topic here, but
it's your show, man.
Yeah, well, it's not. I wanna work with you to create a great product. So to actually get back to your question, it was always sort of baked in like for something like the gasoline Invertebrate, that's very much a conscious effort against type. It's not where I tend to go naturally historically. We'll get to that, but it always has just been being goofy since I've been like a zygote.
I bet that made for an interesting pregnancy, actually. So, like streamers going off and stuff like that.
Just crazy.
All right, so I think that you hit the nail on the head there for why you chose to go the programming route, because one, you don't necessarily need to get everything right, because it's like a tool assisted speed run almost. The computer's doing half of it for you. But working on your own, was it kind of important to you that despite the fact that your goal was to be silly, you still wanted to be unfiltered? You still wanted it to be just pure Brian?
Yeah, and I think that's the appeal of electronic music, or at least sort of solo endeavors in general, but in my world, this electronic music is to just have, this is the meest me that I can be. And that's an amazing release, honestly, I think, for me. But I've found through many people, just talking through on my own show, Space Couch, that it's, we need to have this sort of self-examination almost.
And your self-examination just happens to be talking about video games and animals.
Absolutely, yes. Specifically, so I mean, not specifically video games and animals, but things that I can speak to. Very early on in like the inklings of the Gothsicles. Yeah, I'm gonna have this word goth in the band name, but I've never been in a war. I'm not going to sing about that. I don't know what it's like to suck somebody else's blood. I'm not going to fucking do that. But I know all about getting 30 guys in Contra, and I can research the actual weight of a stag beetle. These are things that excite me. And that's really what it is. These are the things about which I can be the most honest. And that's always been really, really the sort of mission statement is honesty.
I think that level of honesty is kind of necessary for the type of humor that you do, though, because if you were just kind of making fun of everybody and not yourself, it wouldn't feel, I don't know, it wouldn't feel like we were all in on the joke.
Yeah, I mean, I am sort of, knowing the audience is a big part of my brand, I think. I sort of have, historically speaking. Now you see I'm putting a lot of caveats in this because like the last 2 years of my life have gone in a crazy direction, but historically I kind of know who's going to be listening to this and speak a little bit to that audience.
You hope anyway.
So, no, I know.
You're in space. You're probably got a bunch of monitors. You're just viewing their private lives.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. You're out of toothpaste, by the way, Shifty Dave.
So, I realized that the last time I commented on your voice, I ended up sampled at the beginning of a Gothsicles song. But I feel like it's. Important.
I did do that shit.
Yes, you did.
Forgot about that.
I found out like 10 years later, thanks to Syrinx. Syrinx was like, "Did you know you're on a Gothsicles track? I'm a what now?" So
good stuff.
But it is an important aspect of not just the Gothsicles, but a lot of the side projects you do. Someone once lovingly referred to you as the Gilbert Gottfried of industrial music. So, where did the idea for just like screaming at the top of your lungs like that come from?
Dude, I don't know. That's just what it is, man. Like it's not like I sat down and was like, no, I'm gonna try to sound like a fucking bird tiger. Like I used to think I had like some sort of once in a generation gift or something like that, but then my brother started fronting electronic bands, sings the same way. So that's just what we rolled on character creation, man. That's just how it's like my sort of excitement manifests. Now I'm trying to modulate that a bit. In terms of like different little bit, you might see some different like effects and stuff like that, but that's mostly out of boredom, just because I want to try something else because I've been doing this for a long time. But naturally, I don't have a better answer than there's no conscious decision. That's just sort of like the sort of punk rock upbringing meets with the sort of no holds barred Wild Westness of industrial music still. I think allowed for that to happen, but in terms of an actual decision made, there was none to speak of.
It just opened your mouth and that's what came out.
Yeah, it's a little bit lazy to say like that's just how I do it, man. But like I don't have an answer beyond that.
Well, I mean, no, that's a perfectly acceptable answer because I like that you touched on the Wild Westness of industrial. This was actually. Like with a scene that is constantly looking for experimentation, and runs the risk because so much of it is programmed of becoming samey. There's not a person out there that doesn't recognize your voice and doesn't immediately know that's a Brian track. Like,
for good or for ill, yeah, I have carved out that niche pretty well in a pre-choke chain world.
In a pre-choke chain world. Now choke chain is right. Well, that's fine. Now it's less of a niche and more of a genre. You become the new
there you go.
And you were there first, so you can name it after you.
There you go.
Yeah, Brian Industrial. We got it. We're
there
good.
You go, Graup folks, and we'll figure it out. We'll workshop it here on Subculture Talk.
You know what? Chat is more active than it's possibly ever been during Sub Talk. So I'm sure they can come up with some genre names for us.
Well, we have wonderful supporters here. Many people like Furroy are sponsors of our own Space Couch show. Big shout out. Shifty Dave says Brian Industrial with a Y, you motherfucker. That's an inside joke. Thank you for that, by the way.
And so I do want to get to talking about Space Couch, but just focusing a little bit more on what we were talking about.
We got all night, man.
There are some interesting asides that I've heard because I might have told you this is the Pat Thinks Too Much show. So I remember in the song with Khionik and Isserly, So the Darkness and the Fury, there it is. You mentioned that you called yourself the savviest lyricist in the whole scene, but you don't get credit because you sing bombastically.
Yeah.
Now, that could just be like a throwaway funny lyric, but I feel like there's some truth in that. Do you find that some people don't recognize the talent of the Gothsicles and other projects that you're in because of the way that you chose to do your vocals?
Well, first of all, holy crap! Thank you for finding that line. That's amazing. That's the DJ Pat 626 difference right there.
Well, all right. To go a little bit further, I wondered if there was a connection between that line and your lyrics for "Go Away Bird," which is completely about a song of someone that's of an animal that's totally friendly and helpful, but everyone gets pushed away by the sound of its voice and its name.
Yep, you cracked it. You discovered the secret national treasure code right here live on Subculture Talk. Yeah, I don't want to go completely down the woe is me road. Like, I'll often use this metaphor of a guy that dresses up in full Klingon regalia and then walks down the street and goes, "Why is everybody staring at me, motherfucker? Because you dressed up in full Klingon." Like, you did that. So I want to moderate by, like, I know that, like, I'm singing weird, but like I'm turning out the dopest lyrics. I'll say, like, if I can be it, I come from a Roman Catholic family in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. So you're not legally allowed to feel good about yourself. But with that caveat, I'll say that, like, I'm writing the dopest lyrics, like, sort of nonstop, and it's not only, like, brushed past, it doesn't come up. Like, Faderhead, with whom I've been privileged enough to work a few times, goes, "Brian Graupner is the best lyricist in the whole scene," and he's the only one that's ever really said it. Like, I've been like, I'll work with Zug on Hardcore Pong, and he'll just stop in the middle of it and go, "You're gifted," and it's like, it happens. I bring it up. Was finally forced. Where I'm going with this, I'm sorry, this is kind of rambling. Why I brought it up specifically in that Khionik song and a little bit into "Go Away Bird" was because it's like, even with that, not allowed to feel good about myself beginning there, it's to the point where it's like, it's dishonest of me if I don't express this feeling that I'm having. That, like, it's like the lyrical content and metaphor and triple pun wordplay is so looked beyond because it sounds a little bit fucked up, and it's music, so it shouldn't sound fucked up. You should want to listen to it. But then we live in a world with, like, noise and stuff like that, where it's like that's sort of part of the ethos, is this challenging listening. Plus, I feel like industrial music, it has way more than a dusting of punk rock. So, like, bring that part on. In terms of its abrasiveness, but yeah, that is, I'm edified that you even asked that question, let alone made that connection. But short answer, yes.
Well, like I said, you're on the Thinks Too Much show, so I think that's an important thing that we're talking about, though, because, like, not only have you got some just very impressive lyrics, also you're one of the most prolific artists, definitely most prolific lyricist out there. I mean, you had to make a various artists, quote unquote, collection of all the bands that you've been in, called the Church of Briantology. So, like, you work a lot, and and a lot of good stuff comes out of it. So it is interesting that people might be kind of put off on that in a very scene that is known for its noisiness.
put off by my
Yeah, by your voice.
vocals. Yeah, I get it. I mean, there's and people that have been into the Gothsicles for years, Finale, our own DJ Syrinx, we'll see the arc, the Gothsicles live arc of what the fuck is this screaming guy, and then there's like, I don't know what this is, and then there's like, okay, I get it now. So like there's I recognize that, like, I don't expect my mom to just put on like easy listening Gothsicles and go to the grocery store.
All right, but now I want an easy listening Gothsicles album.
I've been thinking about it. It's come up because there's like easy listening Devo, and maybe I could do something like that. That is a bit down the road, but it's in the primordial ooze of projects in my brain.
I think also, like, it definitely helps for people that have seen you live first, because I wasn't completely shocked the first time I saw Gothsicles live because someone had played the Konami code for me. So I was ready for that, but I wasn't ready because you have one of the most, at least, many decades ago at this point when I saw it, it was one of the most energetic live shows that I had ever seen, and to this day have ever seen. And I think that that goes back to just the level of honesty that you bring in, and that the energy of your voice kind of just blends into that. And you're like, okay, no, this guy is obviously really excited about this stuff.
It's about 1,000 times more energetic since you saw me in 2009 there, since I quit drinking.
Yeah. That'll definitely help then.
Yeah, no, it really does. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm going to be 42 this year.
So am I, actually. My next
nice
birthday.
Man.
I didn't even realize we were that close in age. So I'm getting some great comments in chat that I need to catch up with here. There are people who enjoy uncomfortable stuff to listen to. Syrinx wanted to mention that your verse of sex with the Dark Clan is also pretty awesome, which I agree with.
Oh yeah, that's pulling one from the vault.
Yep.
A vaulted beast.
Yeah, vaulted beast. Also, kind of comparing, like, Skinny Puppy also sounds a bit strange. We have a request for Gothsicles Unplugged, and then a comment that your vocals are like Sour Patch Gummies, which I think is a good metaphor because
they appeal to 12-year-olds.
Also true. So that said, I also want to focus on, like, how your music as a whole has also, like, because you said before that programming gave you the ability to make music even without any talent, which is interesting because as soon as I heard the first Gasoline Invertebrate album, I recognized a through line of Gothsicles, like, styles and hooks being more industrialized into what would be considered quote unquote a more palatable industrial. And every single one of those was a banger. And when you go back and listen to Gothsicles, like, you realize, no, this music is just straight up high energy bangers, and there is talent that goes into that. So we can't look that aside. Like, we can't ignore that either. And you've used a lot of your experience to constantly improve as a musician, which is not something that everyone that's been making industrial music for a couple of decades can say.
No, there's definitely artists that you blink your eyes and they've been around for 1,000 years, and you go back and listen to artists from your youth, Forma Tadre or Heavy Water Factory or something like that you would look back and they only put out 2 CDs, and I just I don't know if there's a cultural shift or changes in technology or whatever else it may be, but not only did I never stop, I now do 3,000 things.
Which brings me back to what you said about, wanting to distill yourself and how industrial acts tend to be folks working on their own. So why the hell are you in so many bands then?
Well, and I'll bring it back to Gasoline in a second, since I didn't really answer that part of the question, but I think it's relevant here. I was really just kind of hitting that Gothsicle muscle way too hard, and it's like you work on your biceps all day and you got to go to the triceps a bit, and it was really for as much fun and silliness as there is, I was really hitting the bottom of that barrel. And Gasoline allowed me to sort of, pardon the pun, refill the tank and just do something else. In addition to letting me put my money where my mouth is. If I was a agrotech industrial band, then I would be headlining this festival as opposed to fucking playing at 5 p.m, or whatever it is. Suffice it to say, we've been very lucky to play some wonderful festivals. I'm not targeting that specifically, but these are the thoughts you have when you're moving tons and tons of product and enjoying this wild success as a comedy band, but it's just not reflected in reality because you don't sing about Trump or whatever. But that was a little bit of a push to start Gasoline, the money where my mouth is thing, but it was also let's just do something new. And now it's a huge integral part of where I am. It's kind of what I'm more excited about now, to be honest. There's a Subculture Talk exclusive. I'm a little bit more excited about Gasoline than Gothsicles right now. Second week at number 3, third week overall on the German alternative charts, by the way.
Yeah.
Lifelong Goal is happening right now as we're speaking. It's kind of insane.
And you have put your money where your mouth is then.
That's, oh God, I never really, you're watching me feel something really wonderful in real time right now. Cause it's it's that, being able to send my mom a screenshot. Well, she's coming up a lot, but in terms of just in a quote unquote ignorant party where you can go here's my band's name. And then here's Lana Del Rey 4 slots below it. I'm beating the Red Hot Chili Peppers right now, or whatever it is. And the honesty of that is specious. We'll get into that claim. The doc is far from flawless, but in terms of just having a metric, yes, I finally made Gasoline succeed. And then so to the question you actually asked, why all these other projects, I think just because this is a platitude, but I think it's true. The more you do, the more you can do. So when Volt 9000 calls me up and goes, do you want to start a grunge band? I go, I have no idea how to do that, but fucks yeah. And now those 2 Crudmouth EPs, Crudmouth is the name of the projects, are some of the most, I hold that among some of the best things I ever did in my life, not music notwithstanding.
Played the fuck out of Gutter Spout on my channel.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
That is a great track.
Wait, there was a cover of Daisy Chain. Where's this for? Yeah, that's the first thing I ever did. In my parents' basement, would record a cover of Daisy Chain for Satan at the Gothsicles. But yeah, it's turned into, Dinosaur Tank, which is now pretty much been incorporated into the Patreon. That's my chiptune project. Mm-hmm. And Khionik came up. That's me and Syrinx. The Nightsicles is now a big part of my life. To say nothing of running Tigersquawk Records and any of the side projects you may find on, I don't call them side projects, at least I try not to, because it's all sort of various plates spinning in my life, and some of them are more important than others, but they all require attention. Running Tigersquawk Records has been a big part of my life. So it's why, I think, was your question. Why do I do it? I don't know. I can't not. If I'm watching a movie, I start freaking out around minute 10. Or why aren't I doing it? Why something should be going right now. This is time wasting. But it's a lot of, let's try it out. Somebody comes hey, you want to collab? I generally go, okay. And then a lot of times people expect you to say no. Like, I just sort of wanted I get to have my little feelings that I started a project with Brian Graupner or whatever. But then I'll go like, yeah, let's do it. And then it just doesn't happen. So a lot of it is curiosity, wanting to put stuff out there. Oftentimes, people want to collab with me who are better than I am. So like, it's like, oh yeah, let's do this because it's going to be a better product than just me doing it. And just sort of figuring it all out, man.
That's so that's a great segue too to I guess why Tigersquawk, part of it is because you couldn't not do it. But what changed? How did you go from just putting out your own music and making side projects with others to deciding, you know what, I'm going to run a record label. I'm going to make my own record label with blackjack and hookers.
And well, it came about, I think, pretty honestly when meaning deciding to start a record label is sort of a weird move in 2022. Like, why am I going to make that my thing? This started maybe 2017, but even then, like, why am I going to offer this now in terms of like, I'm a guy, I'm going to start a record label for industrial music? Like, do we even need that in a Bandcamp world? I was getting a bit frustrated with my label at the time, who I probably should name, but it was Negative Gain. No love lost there. I don't burn it on fire. So I just started putting stuff out really to fill in the slot, the physical form field on the internet. Like, what is your record label? It's Tigersquawk. I'd said Tigersquawk as a means to describe my vocal style on a Causticles track. That is yet another side project. It's me and the wonderful Matt Finale of Caustic. And then he doesn't remember this, but I say this is really when it started. The great Stephen Saunders of Club Ovator, who plays in the Gothsicles, and at the time was playing in the Gothsicles for the amazing Terminus Festival in Calgary, Canada, goes, "Can I be on your label?" And I'm like, "Yeah, if you want." So for a long time, a good year and a half anyway, when people said, "What's Tigersquawk?" I would say Tigersquawk Records is a JPEG. It's this JPEG I wrote on a piece of paper. You can put it on your album if you want. And now, because I think it started from not trying to be this giant thing, it's really grown into something super positive. It's really my second family. I hate to go like so balls to the wall out of the start, but it's everyone. We remix each other. We help each other out with like album art, or make cameos on each other's albums. Ed from Batavia just jumped in the chat room, who did the album art on the last Gasoline album, the one that's on the dock right now. And not only that, put out Batavia and their Friends Forever, the second chapter of a largely Tigersquawk focused remix disc. And the promo video they put out incorporates a lot of artists on Tigersquawk right now as characters. It's incredible. It'll fuck you up. Like, it's how good this promo video is. Check out the promo video for Batavia and their Friends Forever, out now on Tigersquawk.
So yeah, this is the impression that I've gotten from Tigersquawk, is that yes, you're regularly sending albums and samplers out to DJs. You're promoting it, but it seems like what really sets Tigersquawk Records apart from any other label is that there's this camaraderie that you just don't see among any other band. And it sounds like it just kind of formed that way because it started off with friends being like, hey, I want to be on a label with you.
Yeah. I mean, I think like because it started under this sort of purity, like, I mean, why bring money even into it? I know that sounds silly at this level, but like, am I gonna fucking squabble over $5.26 from Spotify playlist? And who am I dividing that up right? Like, no, it's just let's sort of set ourselves up, in as much as that entails, to reflect this sort of thing. And it was not even intentionally, it just sort of came that way. Like, sort of time corrects it all. And I think that given enough time, a few years it took to get going, we sort of not fell into, but we're able to consciously construct this scaffolding that allows us to communicate, and that scaffolding is largely emotional in nature. Like, there's this removal of you're on this label, so you're not as good, or I don't know. It's just flipping the idea of you work for the label rather than the label works for you, which is, I think, the way it should have always been. But sort of a weird thing, kind of growing up, that like I'm gonna get signed to whatever Geffen Records, and now I work for them in a weird way, even though the job is to promote me. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
Like, Tigersquawk Records is here for you, which has sort of been, if anything, is the guiding principle. But now we've put out a bunch of great compilations and charity work. I can't say enough about how much Tigersquawk has been a part of my life.
So a comment in chat that I think sums up what you were just saying there, like the rising tide floats all boats.
Yeah, except we're all fucking sea monsters, so we're like underneath the boats. But it works pretty well as a metaphor.
Well, I mean, the boats are up there now, so you know where to get them. Like,
god damn it! Absolutely, there we go.
There we go. Wow. So, do you? So I guess like a big question there is now: do you sleep at all?
No, man. Like, it's like. Well, first of all accolades to my suffering wife that just never sees me. But no, it's interesting you say that. I never call in sick to work, and I had to do it today just because like I was up so late last night, and I was just like not able physically to stay awake at work today, despite drinking oceans of coffee. So today I slept, but it's not a common occurrence, I should say.
So what then hold on. Before I start summing up, I'm noticing a through line for this interview that I think just plays back into the misconception of the Gothsicles as a band and your general music projects, is that when someone hears like a bunch of funny music, mm-hmm. they're thinking of it as just a lot of one-off like gag stuff, like just a funny thing that you would say without thinking. And yet through this interview we've learned that you're actually filtering all of your excitement of various interests that you have from, I don't even have to ask where animal songs came from as an idea now. I get it. Oh, you got really excited about various animals, and so you decided to write songs about them, and you've done an album, an EP, and possibly another EP on the way. I get it now.
Accurate.
Yeah, and that also that emotion is also what holds together this record label. Like there's actually a lot of vulnerability in your music and in your business, and that's not something that one would necessarily expect when looking at Tigersquawk Records and your catalog.
Interesting. Do you say that because it's like you have, you know, like a Pill Brigade or science fiction or these sort of like creepier acts that have this acts, I should say, ACTS, that have this this dark and kind of creepy edge, or do you just not expect vulnerability in industrial music as a whole?
Well, I think that's the thing, is that when you get silly songs like stuff from the Gothsicles and some of your other products, when you get just this expertly designed but still very much pop music from acts like Syrinx and Khionik. Syrinx definitely knows how to write a pop hook. You get a lot of instrumental.
That is true.
Yeah, you get a lot of instrumental music in like science fiction and bands like that, and a lot of people sometimes have trouble seeing emotion in that. So that's a lot. I mean, you just put out a remix album of a song that is basically a guy complaining about not having any fucking cable for 10 minutes. Like,
oh, that was a treat. That was. Oh, sorry, I get excited about
that. You should get excited. Go ahead.
Well, Landscape Body Machine, recent member of Tigersquawk. I'm a giant Frontline Assembly fan, and he plays keyboards for them sometimes, so that's fucking dope. But I was very honored to have an artist of his caliber approach me about doing things with Tigersquawk. So check out No Cable right now. Gothsicles remixes, other stuff on it. Really happy to be a part of that. But there's lots to unpack in your question there, and I think the fact that there is a lot to unpack may answer it, meaning this, like, industrial music tends to attract sort of broken people. I will include myself readily in that. That's not a knock, but we're sort of drawn to this because it's this island of misfit toys. And now we've sort of found this rock to congregate on, called industrial, that, by the way, sounds fucking awesome. But so we're and then many times on the same album, you'll have a track that the theme of which is I'm a fucking badass, and then track 2 is I'm 6 seconds away from eating a bullet, and they're both viable products, like they're both real. So it's that struggle of I'm just sort of getting through my own life, and these are the emotions that I have, and I'm going to make it sound awesome in a way that makes your workout go faster. And you can come along with me, and let's all figure that out together if you want, and we'll call that Tigersquawk Records.
Man, how do I follow that up? That's and it's interesting because normally I don't think a lot of people think of industrial as anything but like angry and occasionally sad music. And maybe because maybe because that's a lot of what gets played, especially at like clubs and stuff, because it's high energy. But if there's one thing that I've gotten out of this interview, it's that just because something's high energy, just because something's bombastic even, doesn't mean it's not honest, doesn't mean it's less real. And and I think that sometimes that it might be easy to get lost in that. And I actually kind of appreciate you for reminding us, and to a certain extent even reminding me, because I think sometimes I get kind of take stuff that people are making for granted.
Well, yeah, I mean, I just came from Mechanismus Festival in Seattle.
I'm glad you said that, because I was dreading pronouncing that.
Okay, and we're at minute 45.
Take it, go for it, man.
But I've been sleeping it all hit me today, man. So like I could yap for forever. So if I start getting long-winded, let me know. Perhaps I already have. But I saw this with every act. It's this. Whoa, what's up, Seattle? Big energy, energy, energy. What's up? Yeah, and, how you guys doing tonight? And then if you listen to the lyrics, it's like, I hate my dad, or my wife left me, or there is no God and I want to die. Like, this horrible shit. And then you swing it right back into, how you guys doing tonight? Like, and it sounds like it's hypocritical, but it's not, because we're injecting this emotion into this feeling that we have, right? Why make dance beats out of a suicide or these horrible things? Because that's where our power lies. Ours as a family, industrial music. And I think it's that, I don't want to say contradiction, that infusion, that fucking, what's more power than fission? Fusion.
Yeah, I mean, the literature term would be juxtaposition.
I like mine better.
Yeah, I like yours better too, because it's more metal and industrial.
That's how we do here on Subculture Shock.
All right, yeah. From now on,
Subculture Talk.
That's all right. It'll happen on Subculture Shock.
You're watching Space Couch here on.
At least the Space Couch Digital made in there, and you know what? We haven't even hit that. So screw the time limit if you're good. Like, on top of everything else, you also do Space Couch.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because for whatever we don't get to here, we can do, this will be great. We will do the comic crossover. You're watching it now here in real time, which always used to make me angry. Like, I got to go buy Green Lantern number 5,609 to find out what happens to Booster Gold. Fuck that. But no, we're doing it. So you can, whatever we don't get to, I will announce now that DJ Pad 626 will be coming on Space Couch at a date I didn't write down.
July 31st.
That is the Subculture Talk difference. So, yes, I started doing yet another project called Space Couch. We are now on season 5, episode 142 is coming up.
Wow. And it sounds like for that, it's just, again, I'm excited about this, and here's these people being excited about what they are. It sounds like just your life's mission is just to get people excited about stuff that you're excited about.
Yeah, I mean, it's all just temporary distractions on the road to the grave, right? Like, why not just why not focus on points of light?
Wow, we got real serious for a second there.
Yeah, it's I did, what's it called? Get a Life, or whatever that streaming Twitch video game thing is, where you raise money for charity.
Yeah.
With my wife and girlfriend at her place of employment, because she's in video games, which is like awesome. And I had such a
for you,
dude, out of control. And I had so much fun at that. I was like, I'm gonna try to do that from here, like my apartment. And then I started set up, because like I've been in this industrial game for like a long time. So I know everybody now. So I'm like, all right, at least I don't have, if I can't do anything else, at least I know these people. So like I'll basically take you through the contact list on my phone. And multi-streaming a Skype call with industrial stars was a novel idea for about 8 seconds, and then the pandemic hit, and that became just sort of everything. Like, fuck. So like I would just keep doing it, and it's a lot of work, but coming up on episode 142 this Sunday will be Silverwalks.
Their new album is so good.
It's awesome. And they're great live. We just played a couple of shows with them. I'm really excited about that. It's been an amazing part of my life. It's changed my life. Like, I've met people that are now co-workers, Unit Code Machine. Works. I see him every day now. Met him through Space Couch, and I've gotten closer, even with my family. Like I'll be finding myself like wanting to know what's up with my brother's band, just because I like a lot of his bands. The Hex is his main one right now. And you know what? Let's actually do that online. And so like I had him on, and it's just been it's incredible. Like we watched a movie called Eye of the Beholder, The Art of Dungeons and Dragons.
Ooh.
Right? It screwed me up just because that picture really in the Thieves Handbook is kind of what crystallized D&D for me, or whatever it is. And you just post about it on Facebook, and a few messages later, they're on the show. We're talking about it. So it's been this really, like I said, there's a lot of work on the front end, but it pays off beautifully for me, and I hope maybe for our listeners and viewers and patrons on Patreon. Patreon.com/Gothsicles. Got it in there.
Woo! Okay, so then we got to get, because we're quickly careening towards the end here. So
we got to wrap it up.
Well, we've got to get let's say that because there are a couple people that joined tonight that had not heard of the Gothsicles or some of your other projects before. So how do we get involved with how do we find your music, for instance? How do we find Tigersquawk Records stuff?
Right. It's all gonna be, well, really. I put it all on Linktree. So whatever the link linktr.ee, you know how they do. / Brian Graupner. That's my first and last name. BRIAN GRAUPNER. Has everything that's like, not everything, but because some of it's not out yet, but most of it, like 20 odd bands and TV shows and multiple podcasts and digital network will be there. That's Linktree, linktr.ee / Brian Graupner. Tigersquawkdigital.com Tigersquawk Digital is the finger quotes parent company that houses both the Space Couch TV show, exercise TV show, as well as podcast, the Otterbat Super Chat and Industrial Nerds podcasts, as well as the Tigersquawk Records label. So check out Linktree Brian Graupner and Tigersquawkdigital.com. There's also just the Gothsicles.com, the Gothsicles.bandcamp.com, and all that. Got a few shows coming up. Check that out.
Yeah, you definitely stay busy, not just with all the projects, but also with shows, especially now that shows are happening again. And I guess I do have to ask that question. After 2 years of pandemic, playing festivals like Mechanismus and the one that you did recently with Rabberface.
Species. We did Resistance Festival in Sheffield, England, and then went right back across the pond to Species Festival in Leitrim, Ireland.
So is it different after 2 years of pandemic, or is it like, oh, thank God I'm back, and it's...
It's... Now I'm totally back. Check it out. You want a Subculture Talk exclusive?
Let's do it.
Announcing for the first time, the Gothsicles makes their debut live in Savannah, Georgia on August 16. That will not only be the debut of the Gothsicles in Savannah, but new Gothsicle for that one. Ed of Batavia will be a Gothsicle. He's driving all the way from Jacksonville, Florida.
You can't see my face, but my jaw dropped. That's lovely.
You're hearing about it now for the first time on Subculture Talk.
Woo.
But it's a Tuesday night. Come check it out. There's going to be gaming. That was hooked up by DJ Foxy, also a guest of Space Couch, which is how I met that person. So check that out. Yeah, it was the first show back we did was Dr. Demento's 80th birthday party. So that was crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's like, all right, we're getting our sea legs back for this, and stay tuned for Dr. Demento's 80th birthday, ladies and gentlemen. That was weird. That was in Wheeling, Illinois, outside of Chicago, where we used to be from. Chicago, not Wheeling. We're in Boston now, but yeah, Mechanismus was great. It was pretty great, but that felt like I was back by that time. Got a couple shows under our belt, both a big giant festival level, like Resistance Festival, where you're just like, oh, okay, that's Empyreon just walking around, or like these legendary bands. Straftanz comes up to me, it's like, Brian, we want you to yell things about the USA. Okay, sure. I guess I'm in Straftanz. Like that was crazy. But then like the basement shows too. Like I've gotten back on that tip with just like not only like smaller run like dive bar shows, but honestly just like house shows with like noise. Like Gasoline Invertebrate was really born from noise house shows here in Boston. So it's come back for me on all levels. So this Mechanismus festival wasn't like for some people it was, but I was fully back and sort of ready to rock for that one.
So you kind of had to get charged up again, which makes sense. I mean, did you practice a lot during the pandemic, or was it?
Yeah. I mean, we got, and I'm glad Furroy says it because I would have forgot. 2021 represented a lifelong goal for me, which is headlining Dragon Con. And that was weird. That because there was like this hybrid, like, we're not 100% back yet, but it's this giant event. So like sort of pick your poison. And that was tricky to navigate. How much do I mask? Do I do this show like whatever it is, 6 feet apart from Zach, who is now an amazing Gothsicle member? That was tricky. But no, I was ready to rock by Mechanismus.
Awesome. Well, Brian, thank you very much. I did not hit every question I had, but that, like you said, that just means we're gonna have the sequel.
We'll figure it out for Space Couch. I mean, if there's one thing I could talk about for billions of years, it's me.
Which is funny because one of the things that several people said in chat was that you don't talk about yourself enough at Space Couch.
Okay, because I did, and I still feel bad about this. Like, you have about 20 things that your brain can select to annoy you with right before you go to sleep.
One
of them is, at a very early episode, I was privileged enough to have Angel Metro on. And I mostly just talked about myself. This is episode 4, and I still feel fucking horrible about it. So like, I don't go down that road often.
She's never said anything bad about it to me.
I know, because she's amazing, but like, I still feel shitty about it. I'm not gonna let you go without plugging a few things.
Yeah, do it.
Gasoline Invertebrate number 3 right now in Germany. Not really, but after a certain metric, you cannot take away from me that Gasoline Invertebrate is the number 3 album for 2 weeks in Germany right now. Crack Wax Battery. Check that out at gasolineinvertebrate.bandcamp.com. The Gothsicles play August 16th in Savannah, Georgia. September 17th, the Goth Cruise will be hitting international waters off the coast of Mexico with Ego Likeness. October 8th, the Gothsicles go back to England again in Reading at Face Bar, looking at Toronto.
They just finished the repairs from last time, man.
Yeah, right. Possibly Toronto for Halloween-ish with Gasoline Invertebrate. Don't quote me on that. Still formulating. Out now, so much from the Gothsicles. I think the last thing we put out was, guest vocals on Batavia and Their Friends Forever.
Yep.
Some tracks on the new 84-track charity compilation headed by Stephen Saunders, out now on Tigersquawk Eternus Memoria. Space Couch, Crudmouth. The Nightcicles has a new EP out now. That's the Gothsicles and Night Stop.
And it's awesome.
Thank you. Worked really hard on that. Patreon.com/Gothsicles for a new chip tune every month, exclusive to you. And that's just tier 1. You get so much more with tiers 2 and 3. Industrial Nerds podcast, Autobat Super Chat podcast. I'm forgetting so many bands right now. Khionik, because it just doesn't stop. We've got a couple collabs that I hope get out the door. We might do Aggro Fist. That's me and Nico from Antonym, who I just saw playing keyboards for Coworker Unicode Machine, which is amazing. The Tigersquawk Records.bandcamp.com is where you want to go. Peel Brigade, seconds before this interview started, put out a new single, so I haven't got it up there yet. But Cutbrain says there's okay. Thank you. Cutbrain put out a new EP this year. I'm really impressed with how well that turned out. I can say I'm impressed because I'm talking about the Atom parts. That's Atom. Big time kill. Amalgamated Cadaver. That's me and Deathly from Nauseon. Used to play the shopping cart in Terrorfact. That's us doing modular noise, but not like harsh noise. It's like this weird sort of EBM meets noise thing. It's really cool. Amalgamated Cadaver is that one. Boy, we'll see if we can get some more out the door, but right now I'm focusing on new EPs for the Gothsicles and Gasoline on my focuses right now.
So we are expecting more Gasoline Invertebrate than this year as well.
Yeah,
okay, awesome.
Definitely. And definitely going to be doing at least a new single for the Goth Cruise. I'm hoping to I'm targeting a new EP for that Reading show.
Okay.
That'll be a single. I can't tell you which single it is, but it's Howler Monkey, out now featuring Choke Chain. But we're doing a single of that. I already got one remix in, and it's gonna melt your mind. From Spray, dude, it's so good.
And I believe you're still taking requests, possibly for more animals for the final.
Yeah. I've had some great suggestions, but if you have anything you have a burning desire to hear, check me out at any of the outlets we mentioned, or Brian Graupner.
I will actually do a shout out, since he's in the room preparing for the next stream, that I actually exposed my boyfriend to your music through animal songs, because he's a big fan of axolotls and moles.
Oh,
so
nice, man.
Yeah, so I think I woke him up with Pink and Furtive one morning. Yeah, he nods. Yeah. That was the one. Yep. Okay.
Pink and Furtive. That came up on for something I was doing. I was just generating random phrases with like a random phrase generator. I think for an Inktober I was working on. And the phrase pink and furtive just came up. And I was like, oh, that describes Naked Mole Rat. So then years later, that became the Naked Mole Rat song.
And you heard it here first.
Because you have to walk past at the Lincoln Park Zoo in Chicago, Illinois. I used to live across the street from there.
Okay.
And during times of frustration, it's a free zoo, so you can just sort of walk in. You had to walk past the naked mole rats to get to the otters, where I would go if I wanted to have otter time.
Which I've heard you're a fan of otters.
Oh, well, yeah, occasionally. Yeah, I wouldn't turn one away. Love otters, and to get to the otters at the Lincoln Park Zoo, where I would go for otter time, just to sort of relax and get zen. You had to pass the naked mole rats in the small mammal house, so they became sort of a big part of my life. So now you know the naked mole rat story.
That's wonderful.
I still miss the otter exhibits. So Shifty. I'd like to go. You know, they're fine. They're living their life, I think. But we've been lucky enough to get back to Chicago every now and then. I always tell myself I'm going to carve some time out for the zoo, and I never do. Just there recently with Morris Black, Boston's own, because we did a tour with Morris Black and Gasoline Invertebrate, and it was just balls cold. So we stayed in the hotel room and just watched Monty Python the whole time. But one day I'll get back there.
Should do a live stream from the zoo.
Spurroy says I heard naked mole rat. I think I just said naked mole rat. But naked mole rat is that's a different movie.
Yeah, that's actually coming up on a Gasoline Invertebrate album. Not
/ felony. Album / felony. That's how we do. Illicit audio here on Subculture Talk.
Woo.
Branding, you see?
Branding. Yep. Nope, there we go.
In fact, check out my koozie here is the Danville Otterbots. The Virginia's baseball team whose mascot is a robotic otter.
What?
Yeah, I know,
what?
Dude. So I got the koozie and a sticker. They have yet to put out a tank top. I'm not going to buy it.
It'll happen.
It'll happen. But as soon as we get something out, sans sleeves, that is. I'm at a point in my life where I'm at shirt saturation. Like, you grew up in industrial music, you get a lot of motherfucking t-shirts.
It's true. I'm actually lucky because I got very big, and so I ended up giving away a lot of my shirts, and now I'm shrinking again. So I keep getting to buy new shirts.
And we are at minute 8,000 of us saying that we're past. But yes, I gotta like think about really hard if I want to bring a new shirt into my life. But as soon as the Danville Otterbots put on a tank top, if nothing else, I think this whole show really, for as much as we've covered emotionally, metaphysically, if you will, it really all boils down to a plea to the Danville Otterbots in Danville, Virginia, to release a tank top.
Let's go.
Thanks.
So thank you for joining the show. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. If you're tuning in live, up next is going to be Subculture Squawk. I'm going to do a beat match mix show of only Tigersquawk Record.
That's
bands.
Amazing.
Yeah, this is something that Syrinx and Science Fiction and I have talked about for years, and so we're doing it tonight.
If anyone can command that level of audio wizardry, it is not only you, but the amazing Science Fiction and the incredible Syrinx. Coming up here on Subculture Talk.
And then if you are watching on YouTube, well, you've just heard about a bunch of fun videos that you can check out. The Gothsicles have videos. The new Batavia video is wonderful. Hey, go, have fun. Find some new favorite music. And Brian, I will see you on the 31st, if not before.
To be continued on Space Couch. Event Music 2021 says evening all. Should I just keep going here, Pat? Or
no, you're good.
All right. Oh, you made a Subculture Squawk logo.